I'm doing that now. Me also. Okay.
Hello and welcome to a very spooky Halloween bonus episode of Kill James Bond. Joined, as always, by my friends Abigail Thorne and Devon.
Abigail Gorn.
Scarabigail Thorne and Demon.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And we have a guest who I didn't bother to think of a scary name in advance
Yeah,
for.
I didn't either. Sorry.
It's your friend and mine, Trinket, at BirdTickler on Twitter.
Hello.
Friend of the show. And I made you watch my choice of Halloween movie,
Yes.
Audition.
Because the thing is we've done 3 Halloween specials. I picked one. We did Van Helsing. Then Abby
great.
picked Jennifer's Body. And now it's come around to you. And you've made me watch Audition.
I have made you watch a Japanese psychological horror. That's right. This was in part an attempt to follow up on the success of The Ring.
Is it a psychological horror or is it just gruesome?
I mean, listen, there are attempts, right? But so we begin with a classic way to begin a movie, Dead Mum, right? And this stuff is not the best, right? But we get it out of the way quickly. At least, right? It's shot and like someone smeared Vaseline all over the lens. And it's like, check out this woman. She's like this guy's wife,
Don't get
and
attached.
she's this kid's mother. She's dead now. Don't worry about it.
They don't
It's like,
attempt to resuscitate her at all. So she's in a hospital bed. This is Ryoko. She's in a hospital bed, and she just dies. So the doctor just goes, "I'm very sorry." I'm like, "Bro, do something! You've got like 3 minutes to save this woman's life.
don't
Like,
know,
get a
maybe she
fucking
has a
crash
DNR.
card in here." Like,
yeah, it's like hospice or something.
Who knows?
I don't know, but yeah. It's
She's got her own room, which generally speaking, as someone who
fucking luxury.
it's because she's trans.
that probably says hospice to me.
He's transsexual.
Just I have that drop for other reasons. Don't worry about it. It's called foreshadowing. But yeah, so Ryoko dies, leaving her husband to raise their son alone. And then we jump into the future a bit.
He's Aoyama, and the son is Shigehiko. Right?
Yeah, well, Aoyama is the family name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So the
Shigeharu then is his first name.
Yes. And so the son is now a teenage boy, and they're fishing in the ocean. And they're fishing for, I guess, like bass or something. And talking about women.
There's this really funny moment with the fishing.
I actually know what fish it is because I put it in my notes.
Really?
Yeah, very
Oh,
it's
truthfully.
bream. It's sea bream.
It's a black sea bream, and I know this because they make a comment about them being transgender or something.
Yes. Fuck. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. No. Cut the whole bit about the bass.
There's a really funny moment where Shigehiko catches fish and then he just like comes out and declares, "I prefer girls to fish."
He's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says because his dad's talking about like how big the fish he's going to catch is, and he says, "I prefer real girls to imaginary big fish."
Owned.
Yeah, he is owning his dad here. But as he says this, his dad is like his rod is sort of like taken by like an unexpected prey, right? And it's getting like sort of like thrown around with the hook on the end. And he finally reels in this large sea bream that's too large for both of them to eat. At this point, I'm thinking of the Lars von Trier movie Nymphomaniac, which opens with a sequence called The Complete Angler, which makes a series of like very unsubtle parallels between angling and like sex. And this is a movie that's in part a sexual horror.
Both involve a lot of hooks. What?
It's more about seduction and how the qualities that sort of like require, like the qualities required of an angler are also those required to like seduce a stranger.
What? Stand in a lot of rubber up to your tits in water in the cold in Scotland?
Yep.
It's always worked for
Your
me.
dad is there. Like, what?
Yeah, you don't make a lot of noise in case you scare them off. That's
Patience, be prepared, have a fun hat.
Yeah. the idea of like luring stuff like this, you know, there's
spin shiny thing. I don't know. I've done a lot of fishing and a lot of seduction, and never have I thought to overlap the two.
Ever. Be raising Jason Bourne, things of this nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then when they go to dinner, the son does bring up the fact. He goes, "Did you know that sea bream can change sex?" And my notes say, Yeah,
he looks at this fish and he's like,
"She's transsexual."
Because he goes, yeah, all sea bream change gender. They start out as male and then they change to like hermaphroditic and then male or female again.
That would have been such an unexpected twist to Finding Nemo. If Marlin finds Nemo at the end and Nemo's changed gender, like that would, and like Nemo actually ran away to secure this because he didn't think Marlin would accept it. Like,
well, of course, Nemo being the last survivor of it means that he would come female and mate with his dad in the wild, which is a shame, but that is how it would go.
Finding Shimo? I don't know.
Finding Shimo? Okay.
We'll workshop it.
It's pretty good. But yeah, so he says, you know, that no, this fish is female. And his dad's like,
Serving fish.
What? I would never have guessed. I don't know. He even says like we took out its ovaries, dude. and yeah, it is serving fish. It passes.
If it went for the tattoo, I wouldn't have known.
and he says, yeah, no, I don't know much about ovaries. Wow, okay. Just for a second, there was a bit where all three of you were all face palming independently. And I knew at that moment I had lost control of the episode. Right? I'm just clinging onto the side of it. This episode is a fish I'm trying to land, right?
You're explaining what happens in the plot, and all three of us have done a room joke and have our heads in our hands about it. This one's going to be probably quite impenetrable. That's fine, though, I think.
Yeah, this is fun. Well, because this is the thing, right? This is what happens when you bring in a guest that, you know, Abby, you've never met.
No.
Right? Is we're kind of like, you know,
Neither of
obviously
you.
Well, listen, I would say you've met Trinket zero. You've met Trinket maybe like 0 times, and I think I've met him more. But it's all of us, the three of us. We have a dynamic, and then there's a dynamic between people that we absolutely do not know, have never met.
Yeah,
that enables us to do room jokes very easily. That are, like incomprehensible.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm being involved in a kink somehow here. I don't know how I feel about it.
That's like every character in this movie. Their like third line is like, they're being involved in a kink.
Am I involved in a kink right now? My note here, I don't know if I can justify this, but I've written there's something deeply hauntological about a Japanese family having a beagle, and I don't fully know what I meant by that. I don't think that's the traditional like family dog anymore. It's the traditional American family dog of the time, and it's funny to see like a Japanese family also have the same one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'll get into this guy's family setup a bit later.
We will,
because I think there's something there. But his son, as we have established, is autistic, right? Not explicitly, but he's just like, you know, very interested in the reproductive systems of fish.
Yeah, he's also very interested in dinosaurs.
Yes.
There are various...
We'll get to the fucking dinosaurs.
Yeah, various points where he just goes, time to go and look at dinosaurs for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. But he's also, the reason why I say he's autistic is that he's also very, like, blunt with his dad in a fairly misogynistic way, where he's like, yeah, you look like shit. You need to remarry and, like, get a woman to take care of you again. And he just walks out, just leaves him to do the dishes. Clearly, this, like, you know, plants a seed, because Ayama goes to see his worst friend and possibly only friend.
Yes. I hate this guy.
Yoshikawa, he's a movie producer.
Yeah, because like we see him at work a bit, and you know, he's like, yeah, no, he doesn't really connect with anything. He's a filmmaker, and someone at work says, you know, everyone in Japan is lonely, right? And you're not lonely. So he goes to see Yoshikawa, his dirtbag friend, at a cocktail bar, and they have this conversation about how he's gonna get remarried, right? Yoshikawa's on board with this.
Well, first of all, there's an interesting little moment where they're in the cocktail bar being like lonely dudes. There's a group of women at the table over, and they're laughing and happy. And then these two guys that look over and they call them stupid because they're happy in public.
Yoshikawa goes like, you know, where are all the nice girls? Japan's finished.
I get the impression that Shigeharu has this sort of thing about like youth culture in general, because right before this, when we see him at his work, he's looking at like footage of a club, and he's like, "This is a cult. Nobody happy goes there."
If you wish to listen to the rest of this spooky Halloween episode,
I know it's the 2nd of November. Okay, just this is how the release schedule worked out, right?
if you want to listen to the rest of this spooky episode, you'd better head to patreon.com first.
Kill James Bond, all one word. £5 a month. I don't fucking care anymore.